Right here is Nikola Jokic yelling in frustration from the bench in the Denver Nuggets' recent loss against the Golden State Warriors. A loss in which Jokic scored 33 points, had 12 rebounds, 9 assists, and only missed 4 shots. And that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the Denver Nuggets' recent form. Because after starting the season 40-22, they have now gone 7-10 over their last 17 games. And there is a very real chance this team is fighting in the play-in to secure a playoff spot. And if you want to know why, it's plays like this. With 1 minute remaining and the Nuggets trailing by 4, Jokic sets the initial screen. He gets into the paint where he wants to, and with position for an easy catch and a bucket, the pass is just out of his reach. This was one of 3 turnovers the Nuggets had in the last 2 minutes of the game versus Indiana. A must-win game at home, and yet again, despite Nikola Jokic recording 41, 15, and 13, the Denver Nuggets lost yet again. And this now means over Jokic's last 3 games, he's averaged 45 points, nearly 13 boards, and 10 assists on 73% true shooting, and the Nuggets have lost every single one of those games. And I know Russell Westbrook has received a lot of blame, and I think he has still been a great signing on a minimum contract, but you can't help but think back to the end of the Minnesota game when this happened.
And he threw it away. It's a turnover. 2-on-1. Brown, Westbrook, no. Edwards looks at the clock, drives, feeds, forwards. They got a foul.
At the time, it felt like a pivotal moment, and right now, it feels more pivotal than ever, because in the best game of the season, against a team who have dominated Denver for the last 8 months, Jokic put on one of the greatest performances ever to will his team to victory, and then 2 of the worst possible mistakes in a row cost them, and it might cost them a secured playoff spot. But this goes beyond Russell Westbrook. This is a team that feels broken, a team that doesn't have the defensive pieces, the talent, and potentially even the coaching to capitalize on the prime of one of the greatest players in NBA history. And right there is a disaster. Now, before we go any further, I just want to list you guys some teams real quick. Just follow along. OKC, Cleveland, Boston, New York, LA, Golden State, Minnesota, Memphis, Indiana, Milwaukee, Dallas, even the Phoenix Suns. What does every one of those teams that I just mentioned have in common? Every single one of those teams has multiple All-Stars, and not just All-Stars. Most of these teams have a combination of 2 All-Stars and also an all-defensive level player as well. That is what championship teams are built upon. Top-end talent and elite defensive talent. How many All-Stars does Nikola Jokic have on his team? Oh, that's right. How many all-defensive level players does Nikola Jokic have on his team? Oh, that's right. Did the Nuggets not give up their 2 best perimeter defenders? Oh, that's right. That is all right. Everything I just said is right because the Denver Nuggets right now are a team built around one of the 10 greatest players of all time, and they do not have a single All-Star, a single all-defensive level player, and to top it off, they have one of the worst benches in basketball. You have Anthony Edwards coming out in post-game interviews and saying this is the greatest basketball player he has ever seen.
Nikola Jokic, bro. Oh my God, he might be the best basketball player I've ever seen, like close up. Besides myself, to myself. Bro, he's incredible, bro.
Not his idol Kevin Durant or Steph Curry or LeBron James, who he has played with and against, but Nikola Jokic, who is dropping 60-point triple-doubles against defenders like Rudy Gobert. And despite being the best player Anthony Edwards has ever seen, and one of the best players ever, he has no All-Star and no all-defensive teammate to help. And to make things even worse, we know exactly what Nikola Jokic needs around him to help win a championship. Maybe guys like these 2. Oh, That's right, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Bruce Brown. Do you remember these guys causing chaos on the perimeter when the Nuggets won their first championship in NBA history? Do you remember the Nuggets being a good defense when they surrounded Jokic with guys who could stay attached to shooters, when they had energy, intensity, and effort on that end of the floor? And it's not just been losing the likes of Bruce Brown and KCP, but also the quickness at which the Nuggets have handed out contract extensions, or the length of contracts. I'm sorry, but who is stopping you from signing Dario Saric? Why did he need a 2-year contract after he was replaced in the rotation by the 57th overall pick in last year's draft on the Warriors? And don't even get me started on Zignacci. I don't think anyone outside of Denver fans and a few of the really diehard NBA fans even know who that is. Well, he's the same guy getting paid the 5th most on the Nuggets roster. No, that's not misinformation. It's right here, alongside his front court superstar teammate Dario Saric, which makes up nearly $15 million a year worth of unplayable production, which becomes a serious issue when that is the money that is supposed to make up for the loss of key players like KCP and Bruce Brown. Because let's remember, the whole idea of the Nuggets losing KCP was to retain flexibility to make signings around the edges like Dario Saric and Zignacci. Flexibility. Interesting. And I thought the turning point in the Nuggets season was after Jokic dropped 50 points against the Wizards earlier and Denver still lost. A game in which he said this after the loss, a reaction. In my country where I'm from, after this kind of stretch, you're gonna get a paycheck that is a little bit less than you are worth. So maybe that's what we need to do. Maybe a little bit of motivation that way. No, Denver have continued to play weak, uninspired basketball, and now a team that should have been competing for a championship might be competing just to make the playoffs. Now, what I'm about to do is very rare, and some people might disagree with me. That's fine. Nikola Jokic is my favorite basketball player ever. He is unbelievable and one of one. With that being said, he has not been perfect this season. I know what you're thinking. He's averaging a 30-point triple-double and shooting 40% from 3. What else could he possibly do? There is a level of defensive effort which he showed during the Nuggets championship run that he has not shown since. I don't like talking about Jokic's defense because people either call him a genius on defense and a great defender, or more commonly, people call him a traffic cone and suggest he's the worst defender in the league. I'm of the belief that he is smart, he is active with his hands, and he's an incredible rebounder, but there are far too many times where he shows no effort or interest in defending the rim or at times the ball. Like on this play where the Pacers get the ball in transition and Jokic, come on, what is that? Use your body, stay vertical, absorb the hit, and wall up. Or here where Nembhard goes right at him and bumps him out of the way, and it's an open pull-up jumper. Or in the Warriors game where he allowed Brandon Podziemski to just walk into uncontested pull-up mid-range jumpers all night long. I get there are some people you want to shoot, but that's a good shooter. You can't just give him those shots every time. There is no excuse for some of the defense Jokic has played. I understand he has the heaviest workload in the NBA on offense, and he is tired, but there are plays where he just needs to be better. Is he still being failed by the general manager? Absolutely. But it doesn't mean Jokic is immune to all criticism, despite being the best player in the NBA and one of the best athletes in human history. That's all I'm saying.